Is the day 3 of the 5 days CSS beginner to advanced series. Today we will be starting with CSS Flexbox, tomorrow CSS Grid, and day after tomorrow again CSS Grid with a very small project. So please join fast so that we can align things properly and try to close in a scheduled time. Please join fast. A warm welcome to all of you. I hope you will be able to view my screen properly. So, a warm welcome to all of you. Today we will be starting with CSS Flex, and after that, tomorrow we will be doing CSS Grid. And today is the day 3rd, and you all can be eligible to get the participation certificate if you fill the attendance form online, which we will be sharing in the live YouTube chat. So today we will be starting with CSS. I hope my voice is clear to all, and you will be able to see my screen properly. So we'll be starting in another minute. So we will start now because we have short of time. We are running short of time, and Flexbox is a very big topic, and I try to finish it today only because tomorrow and day after tomorrow we have to finish with CSS Grid, which is again a very important topic. So I hope my screen is visible to you and my voice is clear. I request someone to please comment with yes so that I can go ahead. So let's start now. uh, Doing the CSS basics for last 2 days, I hope you have a idea of what is CSS, why it is used, what are the units of measurement, and what are the ways in which you can add CSS, what are the ways in which you can add colors, what are the font properties, how to style list, how to style forms, how to position a content, how to align a content, and what are the pseudo properties, what we have, which we have covered in the last. So these are the basic CSS part what we have covered yesterday, and today we will be starting with CSS Flexbox. So what is Flexbox? Flexbox is basically a advanced feature which has been introduced by the W3 schools in 2015. The Grid and Flexbox has been introduced in 2015, and they have actually designed in such a way that you can actually stop concentrating on the bootstrap. It is basically used to kill the bootstrap. So now moving on to the Flexbox, what I will be doing is I will be actually in order to actually link the theoretical and practical part, I will be actually linking the code and the output so that you can link how to use Flexbox, what is Flexbox, and how to use the Flexbox direction in row and column wise. So in order to use it, let me create a basic HTML structure using the index.html, and the second file style.css. So preparing the basic HTML skeleton, and one second, let me okay, fine. So CSS Flex, I have changed the name to CSS Flex. Going live. Okay, fine. So what is Flexbox? How to use Flexbox? In order to understand the property and the concept, let me create a basic div structure so that you can link how to use CSS Flexbox. So let me create a basic parent container, and okay, 10 boxes are there. One second. Okay, perfect. Now, one second, let me link it to CSS, save it, and moving back to the basic styling. So what I've done actually, I create a parent container, and and 10 items I have created starting from 1 to 10. Okay, with two classes in each item. The class 1 is box and the class 2 is box 1. You can add n number of classes using the space button, and in the style part, I have given box sizing as border box so that overlapping will not happen. And second, the color of the box is white, font size. It's all very simple, basic CSS properties what we have covered yesterday. And we have given, as I told you, we have actually aligned two classes. For first class, we have aligned here, and second, independently, we have given colors to independent, separate second class. So this is how we have done this, and you can see the output with the help of live server. So this is what we have created. Moving on to the next part, as how we will be actually adding the CSS Flexbox. So before using it, let's copy the class name, going back to dot container, and we'll have display as flex as we are into the flex, and we'll have the border of 1px solid of gold color. So let me change it to 3px, save it solid. So as you all can see, one second, let me adjust it some more so that you can see. So as you all can see, a border box has been created in which all the items have aligned themselves in a proper manner. So this is what the flex works. So what flex works? Flex will actually move in a row level direction and align themselves in the box what we have actually created. So going back to the next property, which have a inline flex. So what inline flex do? Inline flex actually help the content to fit in the sorry, inline flex will actually, as you all can see, the space what was there available has been removed now. This inline flex will, this is a property of inline flex, and it will help to align the content and align the border as per the size of the content or as per the content available. So moving on to the next part, we'll change it again to flex. One second. Flex. Okay, perfect. Save it. As you all can see, space have appeared now, and we'll have the height as 100 VH. As you all can see, the height have changed to 100 vertical height, because the space what we are you the height is actually 100 vertical height, and the content what we have actually inserted have changed themselves to the 100 VH property. VH is the height. VH is a unit of height. VW you can use for width. So going on to the next thing, as you all can see, the flex correction is the with the main axis flow, which is a default row axis. So now let's change the flex correction to row, flex correction row. So as you all can see, we have used the flex correction row property, and now changing the direction to column, saving it, and we have changed the direction from row axis to column axis. Now the main axis is the column axis. I hope I am moving very slow, so that you all people can link the code with the output what is coming. Now let's change width to 300 px. Save it, and we will remove this flex correction property from here. Save it. So by default it is coming like this. So now we'll do one thing. What we did, we actually have assigned a width of 300 px to all the 10 items. So what system is doing actually, 300 into 10, which is 3000 px, but by display is not 3000 px wide, it is around 128 px. So Flexbox distribute the space among 10 rows. This is what the Flexbox is using. Responsive system. This is how the Flexbox responsive system works. Let me show you. See, it is very responsive, and you don't need to do anything. It automatically adjusts themselves. Now, if you don't want this and want our flex item to be 300 px wide, we do it by setting flex wrap, another property of flex, which is the flex wrap on the parent container. So we will use flex wrap as wrap, and what we did, we actually have asked every item to use the 300 px property, what we have given as the width. So every item is now 300 px wide, and if the available space is not 300 px, the next available item will move themselves to the next available row. As you all can see, when I have increasing the size of the page, see, it automatically adjusts themselves as the content finds the space of 300 px. So now we'll do one thing. Let's change the width to 33.3%. Save it. Now see, depending upon the space available, one second. See, now why it is working like that? Why it is not aligning themselves? Because earlier we have given the property of vertical width. Now we have given 33.3%. So the space available will be used by only 3 items. This is how it will work. So now, in order to add or in order to give some space or some space between the content, there is a property which we will use as border npx solid and white color. And as you all can see, using this property, we can actually insert spaces. Actually, these spaces are more popular in grid, which we will called as grid gap or column gap. So here we can use it with the help of border box property, which will help you to create the spaces between the items. So moving on to the next property. Hi Sai Teja, good evening. So moving on to the next property of Flexbox, which is the Flexbox ordering property. So for this, let me change my code. And what I will do, dot box, and we'll have the flex as 1. One second, let me also remove it. Save it. And also we don't want width to be 33.33%. So now perfect. So now what we will be doing now using the flex ordering property. The order property takes the item to the order of flow and place it as mentioned. As from below image, the item 3 and item 5 at the end, because we have set the order to 1 and 2 respectively. So how to actually pick an item and move to the end, which we will be learning through the this Flexbox ordering property. So let me do one thing. Let me copy this class for box 3, and we will, and using the flex ordering property, we have actually shifted this box 3 to the last, which is the order number 1. So similarly, we will use for box 8, and we'll change the order. We'll change the order to order 2. Let's save it. See, item number box number 8 is now in the order of 2 from the end of the content. This is how the Flexbox ordering property works. So I hope you are clear with this. I am actually linking the theoretical concept with the practical course, so that you all will be able to correlate the code along with the output what is coming in. So moving on to the next part in the Flexbox, which is called as the alignment and centering. The same what we have uh, completed in CSS Basics, the positioning and alignment, it is somewhat very similar to that, which is called as alignment and centering. So here we will use, let me change it to something. So nothing we will change here. Let me remove this ordering property and display flex there. Perfectly fine. So saving it. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Perfect. So now this is the basic CSS property what we have used. So now let me do one thing. Let me have the justify content as flex start, and what we will use, we will use a border of 3px solid and bold color. So as you all can see, there is a property in the alignment property which is called as justify content, which will be used to actually content which uh, which we will be using to actually shift the content towards the end. There are some more properties of justify of alignment which I will be taking up now. So as you all can see, the flex have the content have moved towards the end, changing it to end, save it. See, entire content have shift towards the end. This will help you in navbar. This will basically help you in navbar to actually align the content, shift the content, move the content, also in the header, footer, like that. So going back to the next property, which is called as center. So entire content will place themselves in the center of the flex. Now the space around, see, spaces are there around all the items. Space, so between, space are created between the contents. Space evenly. So evenly they will distribute the available space within themselves. This is the flex alignment property. So now going back. So now, oh, fine, Saitija. So now going on to the additional property of CSS Flex, which is the flex direction property. The direction of the flex will be the main axis now. The flex direction is the direction of the main axis. By default, it is row, which is from left to right. Now let's keep the settings and we will change the flex direction to row. So justify flame display flex, fine. Justify content, let's change it to 1 second. Change it to flex end. Save it. Flex end is there. And now we will add the flex correction column. No, flex correction as column. Save it. And let's have the minimum height what is required is 100 V. sorry, under vertical height. Save it. So as you all can see, we have changed the flex correction column. It changes the main axis from top to bottom. Earlier it was from left to right. Now the main axis is from top to bottom. Now we will be adding the justify content property. Let's start and center. One second, we need to type it. CNT center. So entire content is in the center now. And space bit around. Space between. 1 second, 1 second. Something is wrong there. Something is not working properly. 1 second. Border apex solid gold. Justify content space between perfect. 1 second. Dot container. Let something is not working properly. 1 second. This typical content space border 5 pixel solid gold. Flex direction is column minimum 100 vertical height. 1 second. Yes, now it is working fine. So let me go back to the starting. We'll have the flex start. So entire content have moved in the start. Flex end in the end. Center in the center. Space around. Space around. Space evenly. Space evenly. Space between. Space between. So this is how this property will work and will help you to actually align your content in the web page properly. So this is what the values of Flexbox ordering. Oh, sorry, Flexbox correction. So now going on to the next property of CSS Flex, which is align item. So let me have a basic structure. 1 second. Uh, Saved it, and now It will have 100 vertical height. Save it. So the content will look like this. So now what we'll be doing now, we will actually insert the align item property. Let's start with stretch. Save it. By default, the value is in the stretch only. So now let's change to align item flex. So start. So the entire content have moved towards the start of the flex. Flex end. See, center. These are the values: flex start, flex end, center. So now, moving on to the additional property, let's have 1 second. Let me create the basic structure for that. So what I did, I actually used a basic property of CSS Flex. I hope you all have seen web pages like this where items or content are coming in a circle pattern. So this is what the baseline. So this is what the baseline feature will actually help to use it properly. So as you all can see, starting from 1 to 10, please focus on the cursor. The base of all the item are same. See. So this property is called as a baseline, which is actually helpful to showcase your product in a web page, keeping the base common. So I hope this is clear to all. So now we will be moving to the next property of CSS Flexbox, which is basically uh, the flex container property, which basically align items across the cross axis when there are extra spaces available. So this property has no effect when there is only one line of flex item. So let me use the basic 1 second. Let me change the basic structure. Control V. And saved it. And now let me change the basic structure of CSS. Control C for box. 1 second. Control V. Saved it. Okay, fine. So this is basically the text align center, font size property, and font size is there. Okay, perfect. Text align center. Text shadow we have inserted. This is a basic property which you can have. The image or the shadow property will come here. So now changing on the 1 second. 1 second, it is not required. Remove it. And Control V, Control S. 1 second. One second. So in order to make things clear, the basic code needs to be corrected. So that's what I am doing here. So this is here. And here, 1 second. Something is not working properly. 1 second. One minute. Saved it, but it is not reflecting. Why it's not reflecting? Let me quickly check it out. Box. Control C. Control V. Okay. This div. Perfect. So we have actually basically created a simple styling here, which will actually link the HTML which we have created and the CSS part. So it has actually come, but colors are not coming. Why it is not coming? 1 second, 1 second. So 1 second, why it is not coming? 1 second, I am just checking it. Saved it, and again there is some error in the code which I am trying to rectify it. So actually, 1 second, why it is not coming? Displays flex border 10 px solid fine perfect flex type is wrap. Okay, but and we have given the colors also. Let me quickly check the basic HTML skeleton. Hmm? Yeah. ठीक है, 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. Okay, let me do one thing. Uh, 1 second. And we'll have item 1 here. 1 second. Dot box 1 box dot box 1 to 10 and box. Okay, let me save it. Okay, perfect. So there is some error in the code, so that's why it is not working properly. 1 minute. Control B. 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So we'll change it to 2 3 4 5 6, oh sorry, 7 8 9 10. So now it will look perfect. Oh sorry, we have to change it to box 2, box 3, box 4, box 5, box 6, box 7, box 8, box 9, 10. So now it is looking nice. So now going back to this property of CSS Flex, how we will be using. 1 minute, let me save it. Okay, now so as you all can see, we have given the basic scaling of display flex. A border is created, height of about 100 vertical height, and a flex wrap of wrap we have given. And now let me change the screen size to see the response. As you all can see, it is very responsive. How it is responsive? Because we have actually fixed the width to 33.33%. So it is not actually, it is actually not changing the content based on the screen size. So now let me do one thing. Let me add a property of align content. Align content. We'll have the flex start. So now as you all can see, entire content have moved towards the start of the flex. So let me do one thing. Let me remove it now. It is not required. Save it. Okay, perfect. So no, it is required now. It is required. So entire content have moved towards the start of the flex. So now we'll change it to CSS Flex end. As you all can see, entire content have moved towards the end. Next property will be similar, which is called as the center. Space between space evenly, no, space around. Space evenly is not here, I guess. So this is the basic values which you can use. So moving on to the next property of CSS Flexbox, which we will be actually using. Before using it, let me actually change the codes of HTML. Okay, fine. No, nothing new, nothing to change here. We will actually use the align item property, which will help you to align a single item, which is called as align self. This is a very important property which actually overrides the entire alignment and actually target a single item using the property of align self. So one second, let me change. It is bundle and will have align item as flex start, saved it. So entire content have changed to the start of the flex. So one second. Now, so what I did, in order to show you how this align self property is working, I have actually changed the size of padding bottom. I have actually changed the size of box number 2, 6 and 9 to the padding bottom, so that how align self property is working, you can get to know it. So now let me add, actually here we have actually aligned all the items to the start of the flex. So now overruling this property will have the align self to flex end. So now as you all can see, the item number 2 have overruled the align item flex start property and have changed to align end. So again changing the content to align self for box number 6 will change it to center. So it has come in the center, and we will use the align self property for item number 9. We will use text end. So this property will actually overrule the earlier given property, and you will be using it for aligning a particular item. So now we will see the flex item property flex. This is actually a I can say shorthand for flex grow, flex shrink, and flex basis combined. We will see how to use it now. In order to use it, let me actually change my basic code. One second. Let me first inactivate, comment out, and control we saved it. So okay, fine. So actually we have given this align cell property, that's why it is coming. So not to worry. Let me see the box. What we have given, color is white, font size is, so we'll please change to 50 px. One second. 50 px. Save it. Okay. Text line is centered. Text shadow property we have given. Now background colors also we have given. Fine, perfect. So let's have the display as flex, and this is not required. Save it. Perfectly fine. So now we can see clearly that there is some free space above, and the flex property decides how the free space will be distributed. Like it, like if we give flex 1 to all items, the free space will be distributed equally among all flex items. So how we will be using it? Let me show you. Have the dot box, and let's have flex 1. Save it. To equally, they have distributed the available space between themselves. So now, if we give dot box 2 2, so the twice of the space have been used by the box number 2, and rest have will use the space available space. They actually distribute themselves the next available space. So now we will give the individual properties to these boxes, which is called as the flex grow, flex shrink, and flex basis. For this, let me actually use only the first two. Save it. Coming back. One, 0. So what does it work? This is basically the first one is flex grow, second one is flex shrink, and the third one is flex basis. This one indicates flex grow, this again one indicates flex shrink, and the last 0 indicates flex basis. So it means flex grow 1, flex shrink 1, and flex grow or flex basis 0. So there are some another way also to give it separately. We will learn that now. Let us target the box 1 and here the box 2. Let me use flex basics as 400px. Perfect. Save it. 1 second. Flex basics as 400px. Save it. Thanks. And here we will again also use flex basics as 300px. Save it. Perfect. So now we will add flex grow as 2, and here also flex grow as 1. See, and now the third property, which is called as flex shrink, we will give it 5, and here we will have the flex shrink as 1. So either you will can add this property separately, or you can actually use these three in a sequence of flex grow, flex basics, and flex shrink using the space option. So here by this we have actually completed the CSS Flexbox. Tomorrow is a very important topic, which is called as the CSS Grid. CSS Grid will take at least 2 days, which will help you out to get the complete CSS from CSS beginners to advanced. So tomorrow again, same time, 8:30 p.m. we all will start, and please be available on time, as tomorrow is a very important day in CSS.